was this genuinely too hard for the players, not Blizzard's stats? And is there even a difference there? What does all this mean?
That's the really hard part to figure out.
Yeah.
Is there a difference?
Like, March of the Dam damage reduced 75%, all difficulties.
Yeah.
Wait, what the fuck? Does that mean that we fucking dick boys hit soft?
Yeah.
What?
The wee dick boys, yes. Yes, the wee dick boys.
The wee dick boys hit soft. There, that's the change. I'll write your patch notes for free. And then, yeah, the players, that'll be it. Wowhead will have to mean, when he says a dick boy has gone soft, what does he mean?
Well, those are the walls.
Those are the walls.
Yeah. Yeah, those aren't.
So the dick boys have literally went soft.
Yeah.
I thought that was a sort of mechanic that was supposed to be a very clear binary pass, don't pass.
Yeah.
Because it's a wall.
Yeah.
Like we had in Cordana.
Yeah.
Why did that get nerfed?
Because
you telling
people
me
were dying to it.
That normal and heroic players can't deal with a fucking heroic dungeon mechanic?
Michael,
Matt, we defeated this boss.
Yeah.
You know how bad we are.
Have you ever seen have you ever watched much Scrubs?
No.
Okay, well then I can't use this reference because it'd be a big spoiler to what I think is one of the finest moments in the show, and I want you to watch this time. But the moment where JD says to Dr. Cox, I'm sure a lot of people watch Scrubs and they'll get this, what is it, where do you think we are, or do you know where we are? I think it's where do you think we are? And he's in a place that is not where he expected. He has a very sudden awakening to where he is and the consequences and how the world is actually in reality. That's kind of what I'm feeling here, where it is just, do you know the world we live in? You haven't done very many, I'm assuming you haven't done very many normal heroic pugs in the past couple of years of stuff.
I have literally, I suppose I haven't figuratively done one.
Yes.
I hate doing that.
Yeah.
I have not done one of those that I can remember in years.
Yes.
Because it's always been, at least since patch 8.3.
Yeah, you're playing the better version of the game with Guild.
That's the only version of World of Warcraft I'd ever play.
Yeah.
I'd never play WoW with pugs. It'd be awful.
You should see how fucking bad World of Warcraft players are at World of Warcraft. And this is where some of the
all the people in Asmongold stream.
Yeah.
not to oh fuck, 100,000 people are coming. No, but like remember he went and it was really funny because there was the thing where like his editors they like fucking titled the YouTube video in the most fucking whoa way you could. But I think what it was is like he kind of went in blind with a bunch of viewers and like it was total fucking fiasco.
So yeah.
Is that the average pug experience?
Yeah.
In WoW?
So this is why boosts happen, right? This is the whole problem with the reward structure of World of Warcraft. Rewards matter more than the experience. Rewards matter more than the achievement.
No.
Rewards matter more to the average player than actually doing anything.
No.
And this is the problem with groups, right? This is a problem with group content. You've played League of Legends, you've played games with groups. People are entitled to victory. People feel entitled to victory because whatever fucking stack of cognitive bias debuffs are affecting that day,
they are the protagonist.
No, they have the protagonist syndrome. They're fucking Dunning-Kruger. They've got 7 bad games in a row and they think they deserve one because they've got the gambler's fallacy. All of this shit going on in your head. You're like, I'm here for the reward. So you're there for the reward. You could spend a load of time and get good, or you could just boost. Or, because of how World of Warcraft works, you just fucking roll the dice. Every time you join a pug, and this is because of the size of groups, this is because of different quality, and this is also because of how the mechanics of World of Warcraft work, right? I'll use FF14 as a good example, right? So, in an FF14 raid, people fucking die all the time in normal. But you can just res them and come up and go on ahead. Imagine that, but when you die, you stay dead.
Okay. World of Warcraft needs a different combat res.
Yeah,
I feel like if I let if I've like finished the word system and I finish that and put a period on it, I'll just get shot. So I'm kind of very hesitant to finish the line.
So yes,
I think it might be more fun that way.
yes, because people would have more time actually playing the game.
Yeah, and that way when the hard dick boys kill you, you get
Yeah,
back up
yeah.
instead of turning the hard dick boys into soft dick boys and then they're useless.
Yeah, instead of getting mad because the healer didn't heal you or whatever else because you think you don't know or you think you know what you're doing. But generally speaking, it's like World of Warcraft players are I'm trying to word this really correctly because it's a really murky topic and I don't want to just say you're all fucking shit at the game because you are and we all are. But there's a massive skill discrepancy because of how the game doesn't require you to have any skill at any point in time. And also because of the nature of groups and the nature of time being it, you just die all the time and it doesn't actually punish you. That's why you get to higher Mythic Plus with higher damage stuff, and that's where the wall starts to be for players because you need a group of full reliable people. And that's why Heroic's hard, you need reliable people. But when you're pugging, you just die and everyone disbands because everyone wants a kill. People aren't there to fight the boss, people are there to kill the boss. And that's not guaranteed. And it's just like self-fulfilling spiral of shit players not ever getting any better. World of Warcraft pug raids are basically like Bronze League and Bronze League and League of Legends. And it's a really weird thing where the game never teaches you any better. It's quite complicated unless you specifically go to learn it. The game doesn't really teach you super well, like, how to play the game at all. It never does. You have to find external information for that. Even when they simplify mechanics fairly well, it's like, even stuff like firing 2 ice lances at the end of after a flurry for a brain freeze window. Game never tells you that. You have to pay attention for that.
Yeah.
And that's hard for people.
Yeah.
Because they're there for the bing bing wahoo, they're for the loop,
Bing,
they're
bing,
for the
wahoo.
bing bing. They
Bing,
never
bing, wahoo.
they never
bing,
have
bing.
to do anything. World content is so utterly fucking pointless in terms of difficulty, and that's what makes it a little bit different to back in the day when you were playing WoW before in Classic, when world content was when you died whenever you pulled 2 mobs, and that was a completely different type of skill, but it required some sort of skill. Now content is you're basically playing in very easy mode, and then you go into a raid and it's suddenly here's a load of concepts you don't understand because we never taught you. You're like, and then the onus is on the player to get better. But that's not how people play any better. People don't just go, oh yeah, well here's a wall, and option 1, right? This is the one that's the most cognitively challenging. Go fucking overcome the Dunning-Kruger, learn how to play the game. That's the hard version. The easy version, and what people tend to do in these multiplayer games, is try again. Roll dice, try again. You know the amount of people you see play Dark Souls the first time, and they just go up and button mash and then die 4 times and then get frustrated and leave. It's like that, but instead of leaving, they re-roll a different class or something, and that's joining a different group in World of Warcraft. And there's never an incentive to personally get better. There's only incentive to roll the dice again to get a better group to carry you through, because the mechanics of all the raids allow for that. They warrant that. And that's even why cases like, one player doesn't get the random mechanic and blows up the whole team and that's it over. It's like that. It's because even when they do have mechanics like that, you roll the dice and it's either the person who gets targeted by the mechanic that will wipe us either knows it or doesn't know it. When they don't know it, you go again until it targets someone who does know it, and then you pass, and no one has any fucking idea what they did different.
Yeah.
No one has any idea what happened, how that happened, or why. And that's just a fundamental fault of how Blizzard's mechanical design has happened. And that's also a thing where over time, they've had no unified language whatsoever. They're developing some of it now, and they're developing it really well, and I think Sepulchre is one of the finest versions of that so far.
It didn't fucking help this.
Yeah, it didn't help this, but that's on Mythic. That's a different thing. It's like the entire, the entire way up there doesn't work, and that's why people used to ask for achievements to let you in, because the average player who didn't have the achievement was likely just going to be shit. So people want proof, and that's why the fake achievement add-on got really popular back in Wrath of the Lich King, because you could then link, oh, I've got that achievement, yeah. And then it was like, fuck, well, I'll have to check your gear score now, because gear score is the same thing, where you want guaranteed success. But you want guaranteed success, and it's impossible to actually, guarantee that success, because you can't get the measure of a person's soul through their character sheet. But you take the gear score close enough, Because people don't want to play the game, they want to win the game. They want to get the fucking reward. Because it's not about them, it's about the reward.
And that's the difference between Pug and Guild.
That's the difference between
That's
a pug
Pugs are
and a
total
guild.
fucking disaster.
And then the reason you get guilds, and guilds are full of really shit players, is because the game doesn't teach them. But in that social environment of a guild, there's substantially more chance of going, oh, hey, you feel that mechanic. Do you understand that mechanic? No? Okay, well, here you go. Here are resources to get better.
And that works 100% of the time, every time.
It works fucking 5% of the time, maybe 2% of the time, but it works.
Yeah.
And that's why you've got all of these, like, everyone in this, like, big walled garden of elitism being, we're fucking fantastic at the game. And then everyone else just gets them to boost them.
Well, I think then, like, WoW has some not particularly intuitive mechanics.
Yep.
And I certainly, like, whenever I hopped into the first thing of Myths of the Realm, very intuitive mechanics.
Yeah.
And because the way the death penalty works, it's fine.
You learn,
like, you die, but you learn pretty damn quick.
Yeah.
And I think as well, WoW has like a level of, and sometimes in FF I can feel kind of overwhelmed too, but that's maybe just like a new game, less experienced. But WoW can be like a little bit just kind of overwhelming with things sometimes, because I think there just isn't always the clarity, which is weird because WoW does look quite clean and crisp, and it certainly doesn't have the FF14 thing where there are so many very intricate things going on screen that you're just like, oh, fuck, my brain doesn't work anymore, which is like half of my FF14 deaths.
Yeah.
But WoW can still be like a bit unintuitive, a bit overwhelming, a bit confusing. But then it's like I felt like they developed their design language like pretty nicely in this raid, but evidently that hasn't worked. I mean,
it hasn't worked for Mythic because that isn't an isolated problem in one section. This shit started in vanilla, and it's not really gotten super better. Sometimes it's got worse, sometimes it's got better.
Like,
and it's just that massive case of it's not about an individual like raid. It's about the culture of World of Warcraft.
Yeah, but like, man, March of the fucking Damned. That's just a bunch of boys walking across the screen. There's a hole. Go in the hole. Don't get killed. Very simple. Like, you know, we can talk till the fucking cows come home about the simplicity and readability of mechanics. There we have one. Why on earth are they nerfing this in all difficulties?
Because people can't do it. And why can't people, like, okay, why do you think people are dying to March of the Damned? Why would someone die to that?
There's a bit of me that is almost tempted to say that this is Blizzard misreading statistics.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know, man. March of the Damned. Like, okay, put it this way. If we can't have March of the Damned, we can't have a fucking video game here.
That is exactly the problem. You can't have March of the Damned.
So keep March of the Damned.
March of the Damned.
Frankly, it's a skill issue.
Yeah. But like, where do you draw the line there? And this is where you get this whole thing. But March of the Damned, you know why people are getting hit by it?
Go play Idle Heroes RPG clicker extreme game. Go play that. If you need March of the Damned to have its damage nerfed by 75%, play an Idle RPG on your fucking phone. Let the people who want to play a real fucking video game that's designed by designers play that.
See.
Oh, wait, yeah, because play the fucking Idle game, because you only want this for the fucking rewards.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Or maybe Blizzard make the game more rewarding elsewhere, so people who are not suited to raiding don't go into it.
That is exactly something I think it was either Max or Scribe said this. I was watching, you know that kind of thing where you're listening to a bunch of stuff in the background that all blends together. I can't remember who said it, but it was on Scribe's stream because a viewer brought it up. Horizontal progression, because people were like, I want to play World of Warcraft. I want the big dopamine happy of rewards. I can only get rewards from difficult content. I have to do difficult content, but I'm a reward-driven person, and I've been a reward-driven person in World of Warcraft for 15 years, which likely means I have no fucking capacity within World of Warcraft. I'm not saying this has to extend to any other facet of their life, but it's about habits in a situation, habits in a setting. And maybe these people are fucking exceptional, like, brain surgeons, so they're really skilled at some part, but they go play World of Warcraft and they're like, I don't fucking understand any of this, and I don't want to. I'm entitled to my reward because that's how I've played the game, and I do not want the fucking skill.
I don't get it, like.
But there's nothing else for them to do.
But I'm a fucking manlet of a player, and I can deal with March of the Damned.
You really are really overestimating the average World of Warcraft normal player. And I'm not trying to say people are really stupid or anything. I'm saying there is a culture in this game that doesn't inspire people to get in any capacity good. Fair. This is the... Now this is going to be a really uneducated comparison, but you know those, like, you see like a neighborhood, and you just know people in that neighborhood are just fucked because no one has any, like, there's no route out. There's no way to, like, get better or improve or to, like, socioeconomically improve the area.
That's it. Like, fucking transport links are bad. Community centers aren't there. Fucking no one's invested in the area. So everyone there, it's like such a crushing hard mode by default.
Yeah, because, like, education there's terrible. There's, like, you know, places in the world where, you know, you just cannot have, or it is exceedingly difficult to raise yourself out of it. It's possible, but it's difficult. That's the culture of World of Warcraft. In pugs, in normals, and stuff like that. Where it's a case of people don't know to get good, they don't want to get good, there's nothing enticing about getting good, and they've all been trained on this schema of, I will do the thing.
PP get big.
I will
That's
roll.
why you get good. PP get big.
But people want the rewards. People don't. People,
PP get big.
yeah, people want the rewards, so they just roll the dice. And the game has let them for years roll the dice in pugs to try again. The game has now let them boost. So now people will, wanting that satisfaction, they will RMT gold, or
if Dick Boy soft, PP small.
Exactly.
That is my approach to March of the Damned. Fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah, so, like, and this is the whole thing about the World of Warcraft token. That's a very formal way to say it. The token. If you have no fucking desire to get good at this game whatsoever, then you buy the token and you turn that into gold and you whisper someone, say, hey, I want Curve. I want the heroic tier set because I want to look cool and feel good about myself. Here's the money. And you do that. And you never have to get good. And that's been it. But that's where boosting is, right? Boosting is that very monetized version of that. But there's the version of that where it's time instead.
Okay. I have a monetized example.
Yes, okay.
So you see these two pieces of art from the Pale Beyond, the video game that we're making. So imagine these are the March of the Damned mechanic. And you have to go in between them. They move like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not hard!
No.
What is going on? Okay, right, this is it. I still cannot get past March of the Damned being the thing that's being nerfed.
Right?
It's
not this, right? You're thinking in isolation, it's this. Sometimes it's a little bit more like this, and people have to squeeze through that little gap there. Sometimes a little bit more like, oh, and here we go. Oh. Can you maneuver through that in time? Or if it's there, if it spawns here and moves, do you know you can walk around here and go around? And it's not even that. People aren't doing this mechanic in isolation.
How do these people walk down the fucking street? How do they pathfind around other humans? Well, how are they not getting ran over by cars instantly?
Here's two examples. Manuel Norbertson and Inspector Gadget. Wait, you want me to stop casting? Or I have to move? I might lose DPS. You know how people play this game? And now, okay, right.
But if you're dead, you do no DPS.
Right, okay. Let's think of this from a different perspective. Think you're sitting down. Now try to imagine not the internal experience of being one of these people, one of these World of Warcraft players, probably the average World of Warcraft player, or at least a decent sort of close to the average. What you do is think of what they're seeing on their screen. You think of how they're sitting at their desk. You think of what their keybinds are. You think of what their add-on setups are. Probably they just downloaded loads of fucking shitload of their screen. They're using a Wrath UI where they can't see the fucking screen because they've got information everywhere that they don't pay attention to, but they think they need to. They cannot see fucking anything on the screen. They cannot see anything on the screen. All they have is add-ons. They're sitting and they're playing. Their mouse is here and their keyboard is like upside down here. And they're trying to play, but their monitor's over here. So they're like, okay, well, I've got this going. Because that can just be a thing that happens. Because that's just how World of Warcraft
so they're playing like this.
Yeah.
And then they're like trying to tongue out some Doritos from the bag, just like going, oh. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And then their eyes are just kind of poked up there trying to look at the game.
While they have the game muted and they're listening to some fucking, I don't know, some the hard bass on I guess Spotify or something, or just a YouTube playlist of some shit, and they're not paying attention to anything whatsoever. Nothing there whatsoever. They can't see anything. They don't know the mechanics because they haven't looked them up. Because what the fuck's the dungeon journal? I'm here for loot. I'm not some sort of nerd who will look at mechanics and learn. I'll just join a pug and do it.
Matt, this is
So that-
genuinely distressing. I'm really distressed, and I feel so bad for the people who have to design. I thought, right, just hold the fuck on a second.
Yeah.
I thought Anduin was a beautifully designed fight
Well, yeah.
that I enjoyed so much.
Yeah.
And that was on normal difficulty.
Yeah.
And I know it's going to seem crazy, but hey, I don't know. Maybe normal is like fucking mythic plus if these nerfs are anything to go by. And I remember, right, because we went into normal, but when we were doing normal, basically our whole guild quit.
Yeah.
Mid heroic progress of Sanctum. So
Fuck that raid.
we went in with generally a pretty low item level.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was normal difficulty. It was definitely more easy. But it actually felt like just a nice, fun little engaging challenge. I was looking forward to the next raid, seeing the bosses, because every time I did a boss, they were quite fun. We'd have a funny little experience then when we got to Desegni. Plus.
Yeah.
Those were a bit too easy, and Prototype Pantheon just like completely fell over. That was odd, and it was a bit of a weird fight. But anyway, point is Anduin. Like every phase is really cool. The intermission phases are really cool. I've got to fucking go down and
into the sword like in the original fight.
yeah, and whenever I went down into the sword, it'd only be nerfed like twice instead of 17 times.
Yeah.
So, and I go down there as a frost mage, but equally I know if I was still playing my hunter, I'd have my frost trap ready.
Yeah.
So I was going in, I was slowing the dudes, we were burning the big dude, mopping up the dudes, we got into a cool little rhythm with it, and it actually felt like a degree of accomplishment happened. Because the first times we were doing it, sometimes we'd miss a mob or two. But then we actually started to get all of the mobs, like reliably.
Yeah.
And that was like super satisfying. And then we keep on going in the fight, and like, look, we're, I suppose you could say, like a kind of a friends and family guild.
Yep.
I mean, there are people in our guild like Dakor, who's, mythic cutting edge raider. He's the only person in our guild who I think is, doing that kind of content.
Yeah.
The rest of us are just trying to, have fun as a group. And I just thought this was a really great fight. We all enjoyed it so much. I remember we were just thinking like, wow, this is like the end of a tier.
Anduin was this in terms of the satisfaction of Anduin, I really enjoyed it. Hollanders and Anduin on normal to the same degree I enjoyed some of the Antorus mythic stuff because they just felt that good. They felt
They're
really nice.
really great little fights. Yep. And then, I mean, like, compare Anduin normal to fucking Sylvanas. It's like hilarious.
Yeah.
Anduin any day of the week. Oh god, that I always call it the intermission phase in Sylvanas, forgetting that it's actually phase 2.
Oh yeah.
Soul explosion damage and travel time reduced by 30% in all difficulties. That's the wee splooge.
Yeah.
You have to dodge the splooge.
Yeah, so I'm going to interrupt to go back to, because I hadn't even...
But the splooge dodge is easy. You just go, you just move to the left. You just know it's...
Listen, right? Remember, so that example I was going through of this screen and all these people on it, right? All the add-ons on it, and they're playing upside down, and there's someone's shouting at them while they're trying to drown out the noise of dogs outside, where they're listening to stuff. In the worst possible circumstances, they're trying super hard to get DPS out because maybe they have looked up a guide, maybe they haven't, maybe they're just mashing buttons, maybe they've looked up a guide of DPS because DPS is more important than mechanics because DPS is how you get the big numbers. The big numbers, that's the game's about. The big gear, the big damage. They can't see anything in their screen. They can't hear anything happening. They're focusing so hard on their set of weak auras that they don't really understand but downloaded. That's what they're looking at. All of this screen real estate covered. All they're looking at is this tiny little box because they want to get their actual damage up. And they just don't. They don't look because they're looking at the mob and the weak auras. They're not looking at the side of the screen with this mechanics coming in. And you know what happens when they get hit by it? They go, fuck's sake, my damage. Fucking healer, where's the healer? And that's the response. And then they leave the group and they try again and it works next time. And if they're not the common denominator, it must be someone else. It must be someone else.
Matt, this is so depressing.
Yeah, I mean, like if you read through chat, you'll see everyone kind of feeling that way where it's like, in LFR you don't need to know mechanics, you need a degree in mass psychology and a lot of cope. Not gonna lie, I don't check mechanics in Pug and LFR. LFR, anytime there's a mechanic, that fucks the whole thing up. N'Zoth on LFR was a nightmare. because N'Zoth
I'd never subject myself to that.
because N'Zoth required people to do the mechanics a little bit.
Fuck, a designer did good work.
And people fucking hated it because they couldn't just queue up and get free loot for being AFK. World of Warcraft is an idle game to these people. It literally is an idle game to people.
And those people bring money because they probably also whale cosmetics and shit.
They will whale cosmetics. They will buy the WoW tokens so they can buy the boosts now that the boosting is such a big industry. And they will fund all the mythic raiders so they're kind of happy enough. It is this incredible, almost rotten system of people aren't good at the game. Especially in pugs. There's nothing there. LFR Thunder King had to be nerfed, yeah. I hadn't done that at that point. But yeah, that's fucking crazy, like. Yeah. So you're saying I can do AOTC just by repugging over and over, even if I don't know the fights? Yes, you can, because the design of World of Warcraft raids enables that. And I'm not making like a judgment on that if that's correct or not in terms of how they design mechanics. That's up to them. But this is one of the results. One of the results is that you do not need every player to be competent to pass it. That's by design in some cases. Again, I'll use the FF14 example where in a Savage fight, if a person doesn't know what they're doing, you're very likely going to wipe. Because it'll be a death, which means no reaching the enrage timer, or there will be the DPS check, or there'll be a cascading effect that kills them because someone hits the wrong target next time. On normal, that's not the case. You can res people freely. People don't wipe based off one death. Most of the time it's like, oh, well, this will be slower, but we'll still do it, assuming healers know what they're doing and at least most people know what they're doing. It's like we can carry a couple people, but we can't carry people who literally don't know. And same in the Alliance raids, and that's very clearly by design.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, this is fine. But all of World of Warcraft sound like that except for Mythic. And it's resulted in this awful thing. I would recommend you go and watch the Preach in Legion. New account, fresh account, played a Warlock, I think. It was the reason I played Athlock for a decent part of late Legion, because it was like that. It looks really fun. His pugging experience, he was like, just get a guild. Just get a guild. Only play the game. Only way to play the game is get a guild, because pugging is such a fucking nightmare, because the entirety of World of Warcraft, since its very inception, has let players who don't want to play raids in the way that some players want to play raids, but everyone's been funneled in there because that's where the reward scheme goes. That's where, like, all of World of Warcraft is a funnel into raids and M+.
Well,
that's all it is, and most people don't actually want to do that or get good at it. They just feel entitled to the loot.
So, in a way, the problem is designers doing their job.
The problem is designers doing their job, yeah.
In some of those earlier raids...
Yeah.
I mean, especially when... It was just a lot of time in those earlier raids where, like, you could have a bunch of people who have no idea what's going on, and a core group be able to carry them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now, like, that's the problem. Like, a designer making a cool fight is now a problem.
Yeah.
Because... Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Debbie, the 40-player raids were kind of designed around, like, sort of half the people actually knowing what's going on.
Yeah, no, that's
which I guess is why when Classic comes around, people just demolish everything.